I'm Serene Desiree.
Elliot Red.
And I just had a pot brownie. So, Elliot's friend has asked him to review his dating profile. And as his friend's girlfriend, I decided to also review it. And I thought I would make a cool video showing, talking about like a woman's perspective on this video, on this profile. Author Mati Roy created 2021-12-10, updated 2021-12-12. So
it's a month. It's a month old.
It's a month old, okay?
So we're at mattyroy.com.
So far it reads like an essay. This is what I would write on an essay. And I don't know if, like if I'm writing a university essay. And I don't know if that's I get that that's a vibe. Yeah, for sure it's a vibe. But as a woman, I think I want someone who's a little bit like fun maybe, or like, you know, spontaneous. Like, is he gonna take me to dinner, you know? And that's not what I'm seeing here. What I'm seeing is we're gonna stay home and work on our Excel spreadsheets, and we're gonna have bi-weekly reviews where we talk about our relationship.
Hey, maybe you're into bi-weekly reviews of your spreadsheets.
Yeah. If you want a bi-weekly review of our sex life and our finances, just a you know, and then a larger quarterly review, of course. That's mandatory. You have to once again in this quarterly review, you ask your girlfriend for butt stuff and she says no again. That's mostly what happens in the quarterly review. Bounty, $3,500. I'm offering $2,000 US to purchase a woman. No.
Your finest daughter and her horses, all 12 horses that go with her.
Yes.
No.
In all seriousness, I like that you show women early on that you have money. That's really important to us. Okay. In all seriousness, it is.
I'm offering $2,000 USD for someone I end up having a child with.
I.e. being a legal parent with them, a sperm donation wouldn't count. So...
As in, like, if he becomes a sperm donor and someone else has a kid, but it's not really his kid, it doesn't count.
We're just going to make sure that you don't... We're just going to make sure that you don't take $1,000 and convince a woman to have your sperm and then take the $2,000 as a reward. We don't want that to happen.
To bearing in mind, matchmaker fees would be like $1,000, $2,000.
That's true.
A couple more. So it's...
And it shows that you have money, and it shows actually legitimately that you are working as a person. You're taking initiative in your life to meet the woman of your dreams. I respect that. I respect, because women, we want to see effort. And this shows that you're willing to sacrifice for the perfect family, man. So good. This is cool. And then you know what else you're doing? You have Alton and you have Toli. And they are your friends. They are so dedicated to you that they are going to pay $1,000 and $500 to see you get laid. I mean, those are good friends. Those are really good friends, bro. Like, she sees that you have a loyal crew. And not only that, this guy's going to pay $500 and he doesn't know you that well. Totally, like, you've made such a good first impression on someone that they're willing to fucking give you money to see you get laid. That is actually a strong sign of good character.
Good community?
Good community and a good person. Yeah. Good character. Like, yeah. Good community. Yeah. Okay, so, and your friends are rich. That's also good. She wants to hang out with rich people. Women like rich people. That's all I have to say. We like money. I can stop taking new applicants for this bounty at any time, but obviously not retroactively.
As in, like, if he's met someone, then he can't be like, well, bad luck you don't get the bounty now that I've met her.
Yeah.
Alright. I don't
know if that's necessary to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. This isn't a contract. We're looking at a dating profile.
Well,
we're not looking...
Maybe it's meant to be a little contracty because it's an offering. Right?
Oh, that's true. He is offering money. Yeah. You're right. If you're putting money out there, then we need to have a contract in place. So that makes sense. Okay. I get it.
But this is meant to be the profile.
You're a conscientious guy. I see a lot of conscientiousness in you. I will tell you that, my friend. And gratitude. Oh my god, that tastes terrible. Oh my god. Oh, I can't drink that. He made it for me, and he is the only one who can drink it. Okay, yeah.
And also
he was very nice. He was so nice for making it for me. I know I made
it's fine. Don't
for
drink
you.
it. Okay.
I shouldn't criticize you for making something for me. I'm sorry. It was so good. Thank you for doing it.
No need to read all my profile to reach out to me.
I mean,
convenient.
There is someone in me. There's a bitch in me who's like, don't fucking tell me what to do. I can do whatever I want. Okay, you don't need to like tell me I don't have to read the whole profile. But it depends. Are you going for girls who are like gonna push back against you, or are you gonna go for girls who are like, oh, you told me what to do, ha ha ha. So, you know, those are two different types, and you're just screening out one of them. That's okay. Just make sure you know that's what you're doing. While I'm...
Current life plan there. When I started writing this, it turned out I first wrote my current life plan. I think it's very relevant, but I'll be including relevant information.
Okay, wait, you just skipped over the ages.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You just skipped over, because this is an important paragraph, my friend. Okay. While I'm open to other types of relationships, this profile is written with the goal of finding someone to raise children with. I'm 31 years old, born in October 1990. Okay, very precise, once again, great job. And generally prefer closer to my age, but plus minus 13 years is fine. Look, man, I'm not saying you shouldn't go for women who are 18, but when I see that you are a 31-year-old man who is trying to have babies with a girl who's like just out of high school, like she was illegal last year and now you're going for her, and you know, it doesn't strike me as mature. This doesn't strike me as a mature man who's ready to settle down and can make
what about the 43?
Good decisions.
44 in?
Yeah, and I don't think the man. I don't think he's going for 44. I think it's more of a minus than a plus. I don't think there's that much plus there. He's talking about having kids with a 43-year-old. Let's just think about. He's not having kids.
So I see. There's a thing that men do where they try and open up the possibility, like, right? The full range, because I want as much range as possible, and then in other places obviously he filters down. I only want someone who's got these characteristics, but in places where we can do the full range, that's kind of what he's done.
You know what I think this is going on here? He's saying, I will have sex with you if you are 43. If you are 43 and you come to my door begging me for sweet lovemaking, I will say yes. But I don't know if I'm going to commit to 43. I mean...
Well, can a 43-year-old have kids?
No, she can't have kids.
Right,
so,
probably not.
But he still put it in there. So he's also interested in some hookups, ladies. Just so you know.
Okay. So, but that's a big range. Maybe we want to suggest he narrows that range. Well, actually, this is an interesting point. On maturity grounds, like, there's a big range of, I mean, clearly, we're going to go with bodies that he would sleep with.
Yeah.
Because 43-year-old, he would sleep with a 43-year-old. But if we're looking for long-term dating maturity range, maybe that range is no longer 18 to 43.
Yeah.
It's actually 24 to 34.
I'm going to tell you something, though. It's not just that, okay? If I'm a woman, I'm getting into my late 20s. I don't want to see indications that you are trying to bang 18-year-olds. Like, that's going to be in my mind. That's going to linger in my mind throughout the relationship. I know he's looking at 18. Does he want an 18-year-old girlfriend? You know, you get kind of upset about your age. It's like a kind of a touchy factor for people, for a lot of women. So like, I don't know if you need a signal 18-year-old. You can go for 18-year-olds. All right, you can do whatever you want, man. I'm just like, you don't need to tell everyone immediately.
Wait until she gets a bit older.
Yeah.
No, if you're 33 and she's 20.
How about wait till she stops drinking vodka cruisers? Can you do that? Can you give me that? Can you give me?
I don't know.
Can you give me 19 and a half?
We might get down the profile and find that he doesn't want anyone who drinks. So
yeah,
he may have already narrowed that out. Yeah.
On the left, we have the romantic outdoorsman. On the right, we have you heard of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? These are
responsible.
Yeah, no, I don't know, responsible. Right also screams, I still live with my mom and I'm 31 years old. Like, my mom still brings me chicken tendies. That's what the one on the right says.
Sandwiches with the crust cut off?
Yeah, no, yeah. My mom still brings me sandwiches with the crust cut off. a lot of dating profiles start with pictures. So I suppose that's important for most people. So here are some pictures. There's a problem with this, because I know that most dating profiles start with pictures. I don't actually need you to tell me that, and it's this screams, I'm still learning to be human, and I don't really understand everything, but I'll follow the rules that I see set out. Okay, so that's a person who's, you're still like trying to consciously figure out the rules of society. That's not what I want to see. Do you understand what I mean there?
Right. An adult doesn't have to. Adult doesn't have to justify that they are following the rules. An adult just keeps going, whether they are or aren't following the rules.
And the more rules that we follow, rules are also like social cues. And so I know whether I should shake the hand of or high five my principal, like the principal of my school, or like my boss. I don't like come up to my boss and go, hey man, what's up? You know, so like those are social rules that we follow all the time. And I feel like this indicates that he's still trying to figure out how social rules work. Yeah. Sorry.
I like that he's tall.
He's tall. Oh, he's very tall.
I've been spending a bunch of time on r/Tinder,
Yeah.
which is Reddit's Tinder, and they have 2 rules on r/Tinder. 1, be attractive, and 2, don't be unattractive. But on top of that, they also there's a lot of profile screenshots that come onto r/Tinder of women wanting tall men and ignoring everyone who's not tall.
Yep. And you know what?
So
you know what I have
this is a
to
good
say?
sign.
You know what I have to say too, man? You are not unattractive. If you changed your look, you would look really good, man. You could rock a man bun. I know you think a man bun isn't cool. It's pretty cool. It shows you're like you have like your own personality and stuff. And like you just get some cool clothes and you look great, man. Like you'll do a lot better.
We've got a possibility of upgrading the clothes department.
Yeah.
Cool clothes. Maybe he needs to find someone who's fashionable to suggest to him.
Yeah.
Find a gay friend or a woman who really loves shopping to help you pick out clothes.
There are women out there.
Take some photos in those clothes. Put them on the profile.
Yeah. If you have women friends, they'll probably be interested in helping. We like Barbie dolls. We used to play Barbie as kids. This is like real life Barbie. So
dress him up. I like how this looks on him. Yep.
And then the trick is just don't be too shy. You gotta like kind of go with it. Like maybe consider something that you weren't really considering. My cousin had this rule. She would go shopping with her friends and en masse buy a bunch of things. And I think she said like, buy something that you weren't going to buy before. If you're buying like 10 items, buy something that you wouldn't have bought before. And it was a cool idea because it was just like, expand your comfort zone a little bit.
I think there's a context here. If he's willing to spend $2,000 on the bounty, then he should be very, very willing to spend $500 to $1,000 upgrading his wardrobe.
Yep.
So that he looks good.
Yep.
That's going to attract more people, right?
Yep. I want to see some more social skills from you. I want to see...
Like the next sentence?
I'm
mostly attracted towards personalities.
I am mostly attracted towards personality. Yeah, sorry, please read. I'm not very good.
My only physical preference worth mentioning with a double N is that I'm attracted to people that look healthy. I generally prefer no or little artistic makeup, but I don't really mind.
That's, I like that. I don't know if you like...
Attracted towards? I would probably just be like attracted to personalities.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in personalities than looks. Okay, great.
Yeah, I like that.
Healthy is good. Whenever someone specifies healthy in a profile, I like to make sure that they are also themselves healthy, because it's like if you're gonna ask someone else to be healthy, you've got to be matching them in health.
That's a really good point. That's a really super good point.
Hasn't talked about it yet. Might talk about it later, but there's a great relevance there to be healthy yourself.
Yeah. Okay. I just weighted myself, and I was 93.6 kilograms. I just waited. Are you from? Do you speak English in native? It
I
doesn't.
thought it was French.
Yeah, I think he's French. I think he's French Quebecois. I'm gonna guess that. I don't know anything about him. Weighed myself. You really want if you okay. Here's the thing, bro. No. Here's the thing. Like you're going for girls who are really smart. I can tell. You probably want a super smart girl, and super smart girls are looking for little indicators that you're stupid, and you don't want to give them that. So make sure to spell everything correctly. Yeah.
Make sure to come in with a profile with a spell check.
Yeah.
Make sure to get someone to double check for grammar. Right?
Yep, absolutely. Smart
Like
girls are often attracted to smart guys.
But there's also a language thing where it seems like we know a lot of women who notice the grammar more than the men I know. Like I didn't even notice the weighted part. It was like weighted. Like you really picked up on it. So there's something there where it's important to.
It's my firm belief that women we go for men who are as smart as us or smarter, especially I think
men date upwards, men date downwards.
Yeah.
Or like level.
So if you're going for a really smart girl, she needs to see that you're really smart. And also like not just smart, but also
well-rounded, I hope.
Achievements. Like we want to see what you've achieved because a lot of women, especially if you're going for a high caliber woman, she has a lot of options. She has a ton of options. And so you need to be like showing off what you have to bring to the table. And I haven't really seen this yet. And I kind of want to have that as my first impression. I want to know that you are bringing something to the table, which you did show me in the beginning with the bounty. That was pretty cool. But I want to see more. I want to see that you're funny. I want to see that I already see that you're very generous. I want to, just show me, like Peacock. You show off a little bit, you know?
We can, but don't have to go on dates.
We can.
We can.
A woman wants nothing more than for a man to sweep her off her feet and tell her,
let's not go on dates.
We can go on dates, but we do not have to. What do you want
So you think this is sending the wrong message?
Yes. Women, we want some romance, okay? We want to know it's a huge plus if you can like sweep her off her feet, and it's very mandatory also that you know the difference between acting kind of creepy and sweeping her off her feet. So that's one that you have to learn.
So should this profile say, "I want to take you on a date"? So somewhere stunning. Should it say that or should it not? Stunning
or like I want to know. I want you to tell me a story. What's our ideal date? Like I want
What's
from
your
the
idea?
beginning. But like I'm from the beginning imagining a really cool date with you. Every date needs to be like, I went on a date with this guy a while ago, and we're not poly. I know like half of you rationalists are poly, but we're not. We're mono. Anyway, I don't know. Elliot used to be poly, and we're not poly. We're mono. We're mono. Is that what they call it? Monogamous? Does the poly community call it monogamous? Mono?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Monogamous.
Okay, anyway.
Poly gets shortened to it. It's funny, because there's the Polynesian community, there's the polyamorous community, and poly is a word used to refer to a lot of polymers, plastics. And so those three communities intersect on language really annoyingly. So
especially because you are into polymers too.
Well, I was a chemist.
You know a lot about polymers, so you probably had that problem a lot. Your Google search history did not know what to recommend you.
Anyway. Said you went on a date once.
I went on a date once with this guy. Actually, you know what? Fun fact, if you watch other videos, it was David Rausch. It was the guy I interviewed in what's it called? It was the guy I interviewed like a few videos ago, David Rausch. He's a CEO guy. Can I tell people that? Is that okay? We went on, I think, like one date, and we went on 2 dates, and it just kind of there wasn't like a thing there. But he's a cool guy. Like we just weren't, Anyway, that's a weird thing to say. Is that okay to say?
Relationships don't have, dating doesn't have to work out.
Yeah.
It happens that people meet, and sometimes they don't turn into long-term relationships.
Yeah, he was a super cool guy. It just didn't work out, And We went on a super fun date though, actually. The first date he took me on was, we made up a little, I would love to do this with you. I would love to do this with you. We made up a little to-do list of things to do. So we were like, it was Valentine's Day, and so we were like, get a chocolate. So we went to this place and we got a chocolate. And then, whatever, like, and then we just had this, it was like a really fun time. And, if I want to, like, you can do cool stuff like that. Like, you can, I think you're a guy who's really into, like, learning how to do steps of things. That's what I'm guessing. You could learn how to, like, have a really cool date.
I'm also into live-in culture. There's a link here, so that means something specific. I think it's an efficient way to get to know someone, to live with them very early on for a predetermined amount of time, with the option to bail out at any point, of course, and none of the usual expectations most people might have about living together. This is not at all needed if you're not into that, it's just an option.
Oh, man.
So this is an Ayla thing.
Yeah.
Ayla has started this trend of try living with a person for a bit of, like, we moved in.
Yeah, we moved in day one.
Day one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I get it. And also...
We were talking on the phone for a long time.
Yeah.
For 6 weeks. 6 whole weeks we were talking on the phone. And then we moved in together day one. Yeah. So,
there's something here of... if I was not a rationalist and I read Living Culture, I'd be like, who is this crazy man? Get out of my life.
Yeah.
But I guess the rationalists are able to take that in stride and be like, that's an interesting idea. Think about it.
Some of these things are things that you can have in a conversation with a girl in person, and you can kind of actually just get a feel out of whether she's into living culture, because she'll tell you. And also, like, a predetermined. Okay, here.
If they said, like, have you heard of living culture? It's a cool idea.
Yeah.
That's it.
But that's a conversation you can have on, like, a 5th date, Like, you don't need to, like, immediately...
I think this is living before the 5th date.
Yeah, maybe, but that's a conversation you can have, like, in person, because in person you can have, like, more fun, flowy conversations, like, hey, are you what are you into? Like, would you ever have a threesome? Like, it's kind of fun to talk about. And you don't need to put it on a form. You're kind of just taking away the magic here. And you're taking away information you're already probably going to get super early on. And if living culture isn't like die hard, I will not take a girl who doesn't do this, then I probably wouldn't put it on the form. If there's something like, no blue-eyed people ever get away
with lots of weed, because I smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah.
That is like, it's got to be in there because it's a must be okay with.
That's for sure.
Must be okay with tattoos because I have them all over my body.
Yeah.
Like, you got to tell people, otherwise they might meet you and go, I didn't sign up for someone covered in tattoos.
I have a kid. If you have a child, just say it in your fucking profile, okay? Like, just tell people will sort automatically.
I'd say so this thing about living culture, the rationalists have an idea of weirdness points, and the idea is that you're allowed to be a little bit weird, right? Everyone's allowed to be a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But if you spend too many weirdness points, you're out. Like, society will kick you out. You're just too weird.
Well, that's the most autistic thing I've ever heard. I've heard autists have, like, quantified within a statistical measure how likely it is that you will be kicked out of society.
Well, as in, like, you can be a little weird, or you can show up.
I can talk about trains, but I can't touch her boobies. That's what that says.
Too nice.
Okay.
Oh my god.
We'll cut that out.
Right, but there's a number of weirdness points that you can use. Unless you're incredibly wealthy or something, then you can counter it. Like, I'm Jeff Bezos, I can be extra weird and do whatever I like.
They're like autism, but it's the autism community in disguise is what the rationalist is. I don't get it, man. Like, not just autism, it's actually hyper-intelligent autism community.
Oh yeah.
Hyper-intelligent.
Because they're very smart.
Yeah, but so many of you are autistic. Anyway.
Alright. I invite you to be yourself. I encourage, assuming there's meant to be you there, I encourage you to not avoid doing anything you want to do in relation with me just because it's weird. As in, you can fart in front of me? Is that
No. Oh, not to avoid, not to encourage. Yeah, okay. I think that's what he means.
Does that need to be said?
Probably not on the intro. Probably not on the dating profile. I don't think that's. I think you can also show that with actions, right?
Yeah.
Because one day
this one sounds like a show don't tell.
One day a girl's gonna fart in front of you or like do something, and then she's gonna figure out how you react. And you need to be the kind of guy who's like, hey, I embrace all of your feelings. You know, I embrace you as a person. You can just show that in your warmth. You don't actually need to say that on the dating profile. This feels cold to me.
And this is a good point for everything on a dating profile, which is show don't tell. So instead of saying I'm a nice guy, you need to tell a story that actually demonstrates that you're a nice guy.
That's so important.
The whole profile.
But
this is the thing that I would like to see this shown, not told.
Absolutely, that's so smart. I haven't seen a single joke yet.
This does not spark joy.
This does not spark joy. It's exactly what it is. Like, I want to know that we're gonna do something fun at least a few times in our life together. You know, like.
I think you raise an idea here. Like, people should date with their heart. They don't date with their default to assuming any issues that might arise as being done maliciously. People date with the like, does my heart feel compelled to move towards this person? And maybe the rationalist perspective doesn't know how to speak the language of hearts right now, but
we can listen to our bodies too, and like we can listen to the stories. You know, stories around the campfire is like still so important to us. We want to get lost in the stories sometimes, and I would like to see more. I want her to start envisioning a life together with you, and like seeing the happiness and the fun and the joy, as well as just the.
You've used the phrase "listen to your body," and I'm concerned that that doesn't translate very well into rationality.
You're really good at explaining "listen to your body."
Right. So all I want to do is kind of bookmark. There's some meditative stuff. There's some intuitive stuff. There's some self-reflective stuff that will point you in the direction to listen to your bodies. But the other thing I want to add there is that women being on a biological clock means that late 20s, early 30s, there is some signal that comes out of the body that says, we need to be having kids, we need to be urgently finding a relationship that supports us. Which means that women are already in tune with listening to the bodies more than the men are, because the men are us, basically. But that means that this profile needs to appeal to someone who is, knowing he wants to have kids as well, someone who is themselves listening to a body signal. Like there's more of a growing into that body signal at this point in time. So this profile needs to really speak to that body, and this profile needs to appeal to someone who is listening to that signal from their body.
That's so true. Listen, here's one thing I want to add to this. Instincts are really important. I know rationalists don't. I don't think rationalists value instincts enough. Because
they will in the future.
They will in the future, I'm sure. But like right now, we're not really giving evolution a fair credit here, I think. Because evolution got us 5 billion years of unbroken lineage. And our ancestors learned to read cues in people in different ways. And I know it doesn't maybe show up in a lab, but like when you have instincts that tell you I should not be with this person, when you say I love you and then there's this instinct saying you don't love him, right? If you have that instinct, you need to listen to it. Because our ancestors are the ones who survived tigers. Like, okay, that's it.
And a range of evolutionary challenges. We had to be the smartest or smart enough to survive the fastest, the most cooperative in various ways. All right, location. Let's look at the location. I have a rather strong preference to work towards a US citizenship, which would require living in the US unless I'm a US American, in which case it wouldn't be necessary. I'm going to do some sleuthing here. Right? My sleuthing says he's Canadian, he doesn't have a US citizenship.
Yep.
And he's currently in the US attempting to get a US citizenship because he's Canadian. I don't know how that works, but he should have just said that. Does that fit for you?
It would be very honest if he said that.
Right. I would prefer to live in Central or North America long term, but short term is more flexible. Fair enough.
Yes, sure.
It's useful to know. You need to know where he's going to be, especially if the potential date is not in the geography. They need to be okay. I'm totally okay with meeting remotely. I can also easily travel around. So if I travel to your city and it doesn't seem like a good match after our first meeting, that's totally fine. Fair enough. You could probably say this in less words. You could probably say, my work is flexible.
I'm bored.
Relationship structure, romance, and sex. It's another heading.
Summary. I am not promiscuous.
Summary, flexible.
I am not promiscuous.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is one of those things that he should show, not tell.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I don't think that helps your profile saying I am not promiscuous. I think you should let the ladies guess. They should wonder.
I think he means the like, I'm not the type to be interested in sleeping around.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's what he means, but he said it in this way.
Yeah. You know what? You could say, I only want one wife to love and cherish for the rest of my life.
It's very kind.
You could say that too.
Right. So this makes me wonder, why does the phrase "I'm not promiscuous" come to mind first for a rationalist, not the other one?
Because they're very interested in facts.
Fact.
Not a lot.
Fact. I am not promiscuous. Right?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. It's not a lot of emotional engagement here. You're like.
There's like a whole language here of emotion.
You're giving off the vibe of somebody who is not in touch with their emotions and not able to communicate. And for us women, it's just another red flag.
I've had close friends with whom I've liked to cuddle.
Okay.
All right. I don't know if we need to know that.
You don't. You don't. Okay. We're trying to win them over here. We're not. We reveal the red flags one at a time.
Okay. I care about safe sex a lot. That's meant to be reassuring.
Okay.
That's meant to be like the. I think the way that I would say this is something like, my values are. I have a strong value of consent and enjoyment and support.
This also says, I have an Excel spreadsheet of every woman I've ever had sex with. How exactly what days
me
it
out
happened.
of 10. My average is 3.3.
Look, in the weekly report, I saw you gave me a 6 instead of a 7 on oral. What happened there?
Is that my fault or is it your fault?
Okay.
I'm pan-romantic, although I experience it differently with males and females. Females. Yes.
The females. I want to feel like a person to you. Again, tell a story. Tell me a story. Go on.
I'm more sexually attracted towards females in general. Females. I tend to like to escalate slowly. Good. All right. Is that okay?
You know, I would say.
It's a little out of context in this.
You know what I would say here? I would say, I want to take it slow because I want to make sure that the next person I get serious with is my wife. You could say something like that. You could make it sound really nice.
I want to get serious with my next lady.
Yeah. And I'm going to take it slow because I'm looking for the woman for me and I'm serious about something like that. You know, you can make her sound special because she also wants to feel special if you continue a relationship with her.
Also, I wish this was the default, but I'm not sure it is. But it's obviously important to me that sex be enjoyable by all involved parties.
It's just so hot. It's just so hot.
Help me out here. What do you think he's trying to say?
Why don't you say that to me in the bedroom?
Oh, I try, but you don't listen.
I need you to whisper, sign here, baby. That's what I want to hear. Whispered to me in the bedroom.
Okay. What is he trying to say here?
I feel like
he wants everyone to have fun when they're having sex.
Yeah, that's
great.
good.
That's good. How do you say that in a non-creepy way?
Yeah. Okay. I'll make sure. Okay. You know, I don't think you have to like insinuate this right now. I mean,
you could say I'm a generous lover, but try and.
You could. I mean, that's better. Generous lover is a lot better.
So I've heard that phrase for like among 60 or 70-year-olds, where it's a different dating culture, where sex clearly matters because it always matters, but you do want to say that up front, that you're a generous lover. Yeah, you know what? Especially if you don't have working parts every time because you're becoming 70. Anyway.
That's true. That's very true.
But we want to say something like,
that makes a lot of sense. Oh, I never thought about old people fucking that much.
okay. I went to a talk once, it was fascinating, of like aging dating culture. Anyway.
I love that you go to these talks. That's such a good sign. You're so smart. Find
I have an aunt who's a sex therapist.
Find a guy who goes on talks.
Okay.
Reads books. It's great.
So we want to give, he wants to give off the impression that he wants to make sure you're having fun when you're having sex. That's great.
I would say, like, if you want to, you know,
how do you say that in a polite way?
If we are going to mention sex on the dating profile, which I don't know if necessarily you should, I feel like I want to keep some mystery here. But I mean, if we are going to do an essay for a dating profile, then this makes sense. There should be a sex section.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I might be more like, you know, I read that book. There's some book that people keep recommending, and it's like it's called She Comes First, and I haven't read it, but you could like mention that you read that book, or like, you know, or like, I really want to have fun, and I think good communication is super important. So I want to have open communication from the get-go. So what that implies is that you're like really, really interested in listening to each other's feelings. Once again, feelings is a topic you might want to explore more. And just able to like vibe, and you know, she trusts you. She doesn't. You know what? Like
maybe you could say things like, "I want my sexual experiences to be connected and communicated."
And let me say one more thing. She can't tell if she trusts you from a piece of paper.
I am trustworthy.
Yeah, like a murderer.
This is one of those show don't tell things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Ted Bundy could say that. I don't use it. Yeah, show don't tell. That's exactly right. You read more? Okay.
I would prefer to raise children with someone I'm romantically and sexually attracted to. TOO. That might be because he's French that he's getting that spelling. But I'm also open to raising children with a platonic friend. I want to live under the same roof. Okay. Pointing out that we're talking about children in the sex section.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe the children bit should be in the children section, which is coming up, and the sex bit should be in the sex section.
Yeah. It's I think you're right.
So, assuming that this is moved to this section on children, which is...
I'm not going to comment on what I think about willingly entering into a relationship, raising children with a platonic friend.
You think it's a bad idea?
I think it's a bad idea. Yeah, and I think women, we want to be rude. We want you to know that we don't want to have a relationship. Women probably want a relationship with someone they're deeply in love with. That's what you want to sell to them. So you don't
right
need
now
to
he might
necessarily
not be in
sell.
touch with his love capacity, right? Like, what does love even mean?
Yeah.
Sounds like something a rationalist would say. And so he doesn't know how to offer that, maybe. But more importantly, I would be thinking about when you were a kid. If you think about the parents, all the parents of the friends that you had in school, or the like good role models for parenting, what sort of relating did they have in terms of what you'd like to emulate? Like, did they have platonic friendship, or did they have romance all the time, or did they have, like, how did they work together, and which one would you like to model off? And bearing in mind, if you had no good models, you have no idea what you're doing, you better go find some good models. And those models can come from a TV show, they can come from, like, cartoon characters, they can come from anywhere. But if you had no good models, go find some good models to work with, until you're like, wow, I really like how those parents supported each other. You know, there's a movie, Easy A, and it's a teenage girl, she goes to school, it's very much like Mean Girls in the style of the movie it is. But the parents in that movie support that girl incredibly well while she lives in a high school going through a Mean Girls type sort of movie. And they're sassy, they're supportive, they're there when she needs them, they stand back to let her make her own mistakes. They do things the right way. And that's a great model of parenting. If you don't have a good model of parenting, watch that movie. Or find it elsewhere. If you do have a good model of parenting, think about that one, and think about trying to describe that, or talk about that in the profile. And that should be in the children's section, not in the romance section.
I like just there that you adapted a fun fictional story into a real, true learning lesson. Like that's, I mean, that's a mark of somebody who's watched, who learns
It's got
from
a narrative
everything.
thing going on.
Yeah.
And you'd like to see narrative in the profile?
Yes, I'd like to see a lot of narrative.
Right. I'm open to a few possible structures of relationship. So this is the relationship structure section. Maybe it shouldn't be in the same section as romance and sex.
I don't want to see structure.
I'm open to monogamy, closed V or triad. Open to having some openness that's well defined. That seems like something you'd want to talk through in person.
I mean, I have to look up what a closed V is.
Well, perhaps this is the problem. In the profile right now, he is signaling that if you don't know what a closed V is, you're probably the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to ask, is he trying to eliminate that sort of person? And if he is, great, but he should be doing it deliberately, like on purpose. If we're eliminating that person, we're left with only the people who know about closed Vs, which is probably the poly community or the well-versed poly community. That's okay, but like this is what you're signaling with this profile.
Listen, dating is a numbers game. Before I met Elliot, I sat down and I kind of did a rough calculation of my odds of finding the person I wanted, right? And so
this is great. Rationalists will love calculations.
Let's just say I was going for a man who was in the top 1% of intelligence, right? Because I'm pretty high up there in intelligence, and I want a man who's smarter than me or who's as smart as me, and I want a man who's as smart as me or smarter, probably preferably smarter, right? So if you can do better, do better. And so that eliminates 99 out of 100 men. Like that's immediately 99% of your profile is just gone. And then if I add in he needs to be 6'2", I mean, what percentage of that? I didn't look it up before. I'm not a good rationalist, but let's say people who are 6'2" are 5%. So now you've got 99 and then another 95 and like bald, another whatever number that is. He can't be bald, so. And then all of a sudden there's no men left. Like there's not, and so I had to be like, well,
not to mention like they have to like you.
Yeah,
and that really was that.
You have to get along. And then there's chemistry. Chemistry is so important. You have to
smell nice to you.
Yeah, you just have to get along. Cooking. Yeah, exactly. He has to just be a sweetheart and a gentleman. And I found the right one, but
it's a numbers game.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. Keep your numbers open when you can. When you're okay with keeping your numbers open, keep the slots open, Okay. Would you like to continue?
Okay. Children. Subsection children. Wow. So I'd like to point out, this is a long profile. We're about halfway through, and we're up to the children section. So,
people are going to be like, don't spoil it. I'm only halfway through.
Well, as in, this is too long for someone, the best, if you're on a dating profile site, the best message is about 3 sentences long. It looks something like, hey, here's an interesting thing I saw in your profile. Hey, this is an interesting, relevant thing. Are you the sort of person who likes this? Or are you interested in more about this? And it sort of assumes conversation is already going. It's an easy open, it's an easy to continue conversation. The worst, different types of worst dating profile messages, hey, and here's a 20-paragraph essay. Both wrong. But the comfortable 3, maybe 4 sentences is great. This is a very long profile. I would be impressed if the person you are selecting for with a profile this long even exists.
Yep, absolutely. And that's so true. On top of that, women, if you want a high value woman, I'm using modern language, if you want a woman who's really great, she has a lot of options. So you need to be showing how great you are to her. And I haven't seen any of that so far.
This profile is a sell.
Yeah, this is
sales pitch.
Yeah, exactly. You don't start off before customers even look at your product by hey, who are you? How old are you? What's your mother's name? Do you like salmon or trout more? You don't need to like, before they even want to look at your washing machine, you don't start asking them what details of their laundry.
Alright, genetic code. I'm open to using our own genetic code to create our children. I'm fertile, I've done a spermogram, got a person pregnant through a sperm donation.
Okay, you're just casually mentioning that you're a sperm donor. I mean, okay, fine, but that's kind of a big deal to me.
Okay. Do you remember maybe 10 minutes ago you were like, please say in the dating profile if you have a child?
Yeah.
Maddie has a child.
Yeah, Maddie has a child walking around there. There's a
No,
little
it might not
Maddie.
be a child yet, it might be just a pregnancy.
Yeah.
But Maddie, if you are going to get into a relationship with Maddie, you should know that Maddie already has a child.
Yep.
By genetic contact.
He has a child.
That information is way more important than slotting it in the middle here.
Yeah.
In brackets, I've done a spermogram and got a person pregnant.
Yep.
Right? That information needs to be highlighted, it needs to be more important. You can spin it as an altruistic move to enable the couple to get pregnant, because there are people who do not have their own fertility in their relationship and need to go elsewhere for it. Amazing. What a generous opportunity. But he has a living or not yet living child, and that should be highlighted, and it should be definitely emphasized.
Absolutely.
I know some women, not all women, but some women really want the exclusivity to the genetics. They're like, if you already have kids, I'm not interested.
Yep.
So this needs to be there. It needs to be very prominently put.
Perfectly put. I would add to that a little bit. I would like to see some sort of evidence that you actually care about the human life that you created. Like, you don't need to be in the kid's life. Okay, that's up to you guys. But I want to see that you care, that you empowered somebody. Yeah, just like he said, like I knew a couple and I knew they would be the perfect parents, and I wanted to give them
the story.
Yeah, I wanted to give them life, and like, you didn't just you didn't just like order Uber Eats here. This is more important than that. Emotionally, I want to see that you have some emotion.
Okay, so I have stories here. 2 stories. One is from a male friend and one is from a female friend, both of which have donated genetic material to make a child. And in both cases, the child was then born. And then that person, that friend of mine, went to see the child and met the child. And there is this thing that happens when you see your own child, where you go, oh my God, this is my child. Uh-oh. Mm-hmm. And both of them were like, I'm donating materials to help support someone else having a kid. And then they met the child and went, oh, this child is me. I have a moral, ethical responsibility towards this being. Which means that my hunch is that this child hasn't been born yet. So Matty hasn't had the chance to meet the child and go discover that moral responsibility that hits you when you realize that this child is you and you have to exist in this child's life to help them progress through life.
Evolution
but
is
there's
real.
Something there that will come up.
Yeah, evolution is real, Maddie. You can't pretend evolution doesn't exist.
But I think he doesn't know right now.
Okay.
He hasn't seen it.
Actually,
so that thing will be coming.
Hey, Maddie, I would really recommend Robert Sapolsky's series on evolutionary psychology. I think it might enlighten you a lot as to how people work. He's a Harvard lecturer. He's incredible. Very important. Evolutionary thinking underlies I always think about evolutionary thinking. I don't need to say that. That's fine.
Let's continue. I'm also open to using sperm and egg donations from people that have the following traits to be discussed to integrate your own preferences in this model to an extent we find more satisfactory than our own. This is legalese, never mind. Desire to love, rational executive capabilities, pro-social, intelligent, hardworking, mentally healthy, long-term, similar communication style. I've described some of these traits in more details in the section personality I'm interested in. I'm also open to using surrogate mothers I don't want to adopt.
Okay. I would like to know more about your communication style, actually. I would love to know, like...
This is in the genetic code section, so maybe later.
Yeah, okay, that's true. You're right. Okay.
I would consider putting this much later in the profile. Like, talking about these details. And there's something more here that is, I know how much of a messed up childhood I had because the adults couldn't understand me. And I have a desire to, when I bring children into this world, be a parent that understands the mind that I've created, because chances are the kids will be like me, right? So I'm going to be able to give unique support to the child that is kind of me, because I knew the ways in which I struggled as I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be able to do that. So to suggest using other genetic material really mixes and confuses that possibility of being able to offer support. You know, maybe I had a bit of like the ADHD type thing, and maybe as a parent I'll be able to be like, hey, don't worry, your attention's taking you somewhere, go with it. You know, I can say those words to a child and have them go, I should go with it, okay, and have a completely different experience of growing up that I was not offered. Yeah,
absolutely. There's, if you have a good enough theory of mind, you can, and you know, if your kid's a lot, evolution is real, so if your kid's a lot like you, you're going to be able to take care of them better. And if your kid's a lot like someone else, you might not be able to take care of them as well, because you don't have the same, you don't see yourself in them. I'm not saying you shouldn't adopt. People who adopt are angels. Not the kinds with all the eyes either. The kinds with the wings and the really nice faces.
Halos.
Yeah, halos. Yeah, okay. Those ones.
Okay, number. I want at least 2 children. My desire for number of children scales almost linearly with wealth, but I'm flexible.
Okay, it's so romantic. It just.
Okay.
He
wants 2 kids.
I want to see you reading a nice book, fireside with your kids. Like having this wonderful life and reading a book to them. That's what I want to see when I imagine you as a father.
We want to do a show don't tell on that.
Yeah.
So it's okay to want 2 children, but we need to show a bit more. I might have said in this section about myself, I was one of 3 kids, and I really enjoyed having 2 siblings. Both of my parents were one of 3 kids as well, and so I'm leaning towards having 3 kids myself. That's how I have said it, or I would have said it if I was trying to like, how do I make a story out of the number of kids I want to have? Okay, upbringing. I'm flexible on this. We can discuss this together, of course. But here are some of my thoughts. I want to have a parenting approach that is time efficient. As I imagine me as a child, I wish my parent would have said, my parenting process is to be efficient, and then proceeded to spend as little time with me as possible.
That's exactly what it's saying.
There's this saying about businesses that is, you meet yourself in the marketplace. When you are running a business, having a business, the ways in which your profile, your character fails is the ways in which your business will fail. So if you like to complain about your customers, that is your personality type. And you are in business and you scare away your customers, your business will fail because of what's wrong with your personality. The same goes for meeting yourself in the marketplace, applies to having children. If you say you want to have a time efficient parenting approach, your children will cling to you for dear life and fight you on that limb from limb and try and take up all of your time. So you really have to be careful for what you wish for in a time management, in an approach to raising kids, because they will resist, they will show you what they want, and you'll definitely have to adapt to them. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a style or a strategy or an attempt. There's a bunch of parenting books out there, and it's got to work for you. But just keep in mind, it's not just up to you. This reads to me as a woman, like a man who doesn't really want to take that much care of his kids. And there are some women who are fine with that. But I just want to let you know that that's what you're saying. You're saying you're looking for a woman who's going to be fine with you not really being that involved. And maybe that's not how you'll act, I don't know. But like, women probably want a guy who's going to be really invested in his kids. That's what most sane women want that. All sane women want that. Okay, so there's a line here. I have a predisposition towards liking giving a lot of autonomy to children. Hey, I believe in that too. I believe kids should have as much autonomy as soon as possible. Yep. That's a good thing. Yep. Nice to mention it. Great job. Yeah. I would like to share responsibilities equally relating to taking care of our children. There you go, equal. Okay. That's not what the time efficient thing said, but I don't have a strong preference between homeschooling, unschooling. Now this is important because if you're planning a life with someone, you kind of want to think about how you want to raise your kids. Fair enough.
Yep.
Good to think about. Blah, blah, blah.
Hey, I appreciate that you've thought about this because these are important things.
Yeah, I'm glad he's thought about it. This is good. And if we want to go like demonstrate thoughtfulness, this is currently doing it. This says, I've thought about these things, I care about these things. I have just like I record my life. So, okay, this is news to me. Matty does a lot of recording his life. Great.
Yeah, you know
that should have maybe been higher up the profile.
Almost the first thing, so they could like see you and like kind of get an idea of who you are.
Right. I have a strong preference to record our children.
Yeah.
Great. Some people prefer privacy. Some people prefer recording memories created. Good to mention. Important. Yep.
Also, not necessary to bring up on the screening profile. I mean, I think the general rule here is like you really need to cut most of this out.
Okay.
But if you're not doing that, then cool. Like, great. I like your views.
I would like our children to learn English, and I might speak to them in French. Great.
Okay.
Good. I would like to sign up children for cryonics. That's it. That's a rationalist thing. That's super rationalist culture. Okay, that's fine. There's just a money investment to do that, and if you have the money...
No, I want to do that. I don't even know what that is, and I want to do
cryonics?
it. Yeah.
It's if you die, we freeze you.
Oh, no, I don't want to do that. No, thank you. I thought it was like some cool learning thing. I don't want that.
Oh, okay. Okay. While I eat an Austro-vegan diet, why is the diet in the
Why do I need
section?
to look up your diet? Because every time they click out, it's likely that they're not going to
this is a click-through
in.
thing.
Yeah.
If they're off the profile, they're not coming.
Yeah, they're not coming back. So you want to keep them interested and on the profile.
Yeah. Okay. Good to think about.
Yeah.
I like, and it's a very rationalist thing to have links.
Yeah.
And to like
contextualize
yourself.
Yeah.
Like a Wikipedia page. But also, you do have a point that if they're leaving to check out the diet, they may never get through the rest of the profile. Okay, well, finances. I would like my partner and I to maintain some separate finances, but also have some joint finances. Yep, some people like it that way. I'd like a partner that is financially capable of generally supporting their share of mutual expenses. But naturally, if someone is wealthier, this will provide positive externalities to the other person. Does he mean he is wealthier, or he wants to find someone who is wealthier? Because there's some undertones there that I can't read through because it's too mysterious.
Yeah.
I just want to. I don't know which way it's going to go. I just want to make clear that there are undertones here. Yep. Besides expenses to save time, I'm generally pretty frugal, but I'm willing to be flexible on this. I like saving a lot because the power of compounding investments.
Great. That's awesome.
Saving good, needing to explain compounding investments implies that... there's this problem that sometimes people get insulted if you explain too much to them. Like, I know you're not smart enough to know about compounding investments, so here's a link to explain it to you.
Yeah. Hey, maybe it's a really cool link. Maybe it's like an awesome video that's really cool.
It looks like Mr. Money Mustache, actually.
Okay.
So,
whatever. Yeah.
It's a good enough link, but implying that the other person, some people get offended by this. So just be careful if you. If you had just said, I really like the power of compounding, and so I'd rather save a lot now because then I'll have a lot of money later.
Yep.
That would be fine. I have a good income, here's my LinkedIn profile, and aiming to make more money through entrepreneurship. My spendings have been pretty low, so I was able to put an important fraction of it aside, and I'm near a minimum level of financial independence. As in, like, FIRE. Financially independent, retire early. Great. That's a wonderful thing to hear.
Well, that's great. You can put that really close to the top. Finances are very important.
There's
If you have
limited
good
real estate at
finances,
the top.
you need to be showing off what you've got. Okay, so like, I'm not saying attract gold diggers. You can tell them that like.
Is this why people would have photos of them on a boat? Because that symbol, that's a symbol that represents, look, I have enough money to be hanging out on a boat.
Yep, absolutely.
Sports cars.
Sports cars, yeah.
The sports cars also represent I'm wasting my money on a sports car.
Yep.
So there's got to be a sweet spot in the middle.
You're attracting a certain type of person with a sports car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But financially stable,
Excellent.
financially prosperous, great news. It's probably nice to show don't tell that again. Mm-hmm. So I'm an entrepreneur. I started my own business. These are good things to signal.
I would like to see. I want to know what your business is. That makes you interesting. A woman has to respect her husband's job. It's really important. So I want to know what you do. I want to know if I want to. You know what? A man says to a woman, he says, "Hey, I'm going on this great journey. Why don't you follow me?" And then she gets to decide yes or no. And so she wants to see what journey you're on and whether or not it's worth her time.
That's true. We haven't seen the journey much yet. We've seen fixed structural. These are facts. Okay, personality I'm interested in. I'm glad that he has put at least some thought into what he'd like the other person to be like.
Yep, that's very good.
So bearing in mind as we read this, the person is going to be checking this off, going like, "Yep, I'm that. Yep, I'm this. Yes, I'm that." So we're going to be picking criteria that hopefully many of the people reading the profile, assuming they've got to here, will be like, "Yeah." We've got to get a lot of yeses out of this stuff.
Yeah, and you know what else? You actually have a lot of flexibility in your life. You could, decide to donate sperm more or not. You could decide that, and that's good. It's good that you have that flexibility, but I think what you need to focus on is deal breakers. What are my deal breakers? So like, I won't be with a woman who's 50 or more years old because I want to have kids, right? So that's what we need to really know, because we don't want women to be self-selecting and being like, "Oh, well, I'm not interested in pansexual," I shouldn't say that. We don't want to scare women off by having too many criteria, and so they think, "Oh no, I don't fit his criteria, he won't like me." We don't want them to do that, so keep focused on only the deal breakers.
So should he be bold and say, "I'm looking for someone to have a relationship with and have kids with"?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that should narrow down the age range. Should narrow down the maturity. It means no one over 40. It means probably no one under 23, given today's society. Great. So that should be clear, and it should be early.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's been fun to read through the profile so far, but we want that information early so that the person's like, "Yeah, okay, cool."
It's been really fun.
I would also prefer someone that is not at risk of suicide. Right. So I come from a very therapeutically informed perspective. So we're talking therapy, we're talking mental health, we're talking helper professions. And I think the way we need to talk about suicide in the future is something along the lines of, one day you will feel suicidal. Your job on that day is to do nothing other than wait the day out and wait for that feeling to pass. And I think we need to send this message to everyone. We need to especially send it to every teenager and explain to them that, hey, that day is not going to be very fun. It's going to suck. And you know what you have to do? Nothing. You just have to wait for that feeling to pass. Because that's a message that will help people to get through that day and recognize the universality of that experience and clear up the shame of that experience and clear up all of the rubbish, so much of the rubbish that comes with that experience. Now, that idea completely conflicts with the idea that you're going to find someone who has never had a moment of suicidality. And especially this line here sends a message, you can't have any mental health problems, which is basically discounting 100% of the population. Because if you think you have found someone without any mental health problems, they're either lying to you or lying to themselves. So this one line just needs to change. It needs to really be realistic, and it needs to actually do something of use. And I think this line is completely working against everything.
That's so important.
Okay, so we've got rational, but actually what this should be is self-reflective. Because rational is a big word that might mean a lot of things. After all, we know that the word rational relates to an entire rationalist culture. But this whole section is about being self-reflective. I want to know that I am in a relationship with someone who is self-reflective of their cognition, their emotion, and their sensation. They are reflective of what drives them and what moves them.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I care about. There's a separate thing there for accuracy, which goes with truth. Truth which goes with honesty, that's okay.
Hey man, that whole thing with the deny culture thing, I strongly dislike deny culture where someone says something that I need to deny instead of asking me. I just want to say that's something that you should sort out, because sometimes people who don't want the best for you force you into a deny corner, and then you can oftentimes do things that you didn't really want to do because you didn't want to be rude. And I just want to point that out, that it's great to work on that.
It's a cultural red flag. Sort it out. I'm influenced by my social environment, and I want to work hard, and I'm ambitious. So I'm more inspired when living with hardworking and or ambitious and or successful people. All right, here's what this section wants to say. I love living with inspiring people. I surround myself with awesome people working on awesome projects. Here are 3 of my friends. Friend A doing awesome project A, friend B doing awesome project B, and friend C doing awesome project C. I want more friends like these.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's a story. That's like inspiration is like the favorite part of my environment that I fill up my environment with.
You know what I would recommend to him? I think you might have something better though, but like I almost want to recommend to him this narrative of like write in a journal and keep it in story form. Just write whatever you want, but keep it all in story form. Like you could write a story if you want, or you could like journal about your day. I would just, or whatever. I mean, what do you think? I would like to see him in story form more.
Yeah, I wonder if just he's currently in a mind space where he's not experiencing reality through story form. He's not having a journey in his day, he's just having factoids, a lot of factoids. And so he's missing this other way of seeing the world, which is more story-like, which is more fluid and more, I want to say like romantic, like it's got the arc of reality to it. And there's a type of mind that is, people really can gel with and connect with story that is very different to the like fact type mind.
Yeah.
And both are useful, and you should be skilled in both.
You're very good at the fact type mind. You're very, you're a detailed thinker, and that's a person that can be very valuable in society and in life.
Gonna just skip that sentence. Mentally healthy. This is traits that he wants in other people as well. So we're still in personality and interest.
Oh, okay, cool. He's mentally good.
No, he wants other people to be mentally healthy.
Oh, okay.
Low addictions. Sure, everyone has their vices. You need to be prepared for that. But yeah,
that's true, man. Oh, go on. Don't
like addictions. Yeah.
Well, some people like video games, and some people like sugar, and some people like drugs, and it's yeah.
There's a real skill in letting people have their vices, but that's okay. Long-termist. This is tricky. My experience with long-termism is my ability to even project forward into the like long-distant future changes as I get older. To the point where if I look back at me as a teenager, I think I couldn't have been a long-termist even if I said I could. And as I get older, it's obviously making more sense to think in more long-term ways. So think about that when you're considering the age of the people that you are interested in, that being a bit older means more long-term, but also there's a finite amount of long-termism you can have if you're 22. Intelligent.
18-year-olds have different brains than 25-year-olds.
Yeah. And it's not their fault, it's just different brains. Adventurous. I'm going to read this out. I like someone that says yes to challenges. Finds it fun to sleep naked in a cold forest. Will do invisible improv and DIY impractical jokes.
This actually shows
character.
Yeah.
This is like this says something about, so there's something, okay, what is it about this section? I think there's, what this section is different, it says I like.
Yeah.
Right? And every other section has these factoids, and this has been much more subjective. I like someone who says yes to challenges. This is you. This is your personality that you can express when you use the phrase, I like someone that says yes to challenges.
I love it because I just imagined that I was doing these things with you. It was like, oh, now we're on this wonderful adventure. Like
Invisible
we're in a
intro.
cold forest and, invisible intro. Yeah.
Right, so I can fit myself into this person's life. This person's life. Not the factoids.
I didn't mean it in a romantic way. I'm sorry. I didn't want to put any. I just want to put a boundary. I was just thinking of like, if I'm a girl who wants to be with you, I'm not. I'm happily mono. Go on.
Yeah, but this paragraph is like, oh, now you're a real person. Now you've inspired me to go, oh, what kind of person is writing these words that says finds it fun to sleep naked in a cold forest? Suddenly, there's character behind this profile.
The invisible improv and the DIY and the impractical jokers, like I'm already having so much fun. I'm experiencing so much joy thinking about what we could do, right? This is almost your first sentence of your entire profile. Because this puts me in, this just paints you in a great light.
Okay. I want to just flip flavors here and go health conscious. I'd rather someone that doesn't smoke cigarettes. I would prefer someone at least leaning towards a healthy diet. Okay.
You know what women like is we like a decisive man. We like a man with boundaries because sometimes, unconsciously or not, we will test your boundaries. And so we need a man who's going to stick up for what he believes in.
So the phrase should be, you can't smoke.
Yep. Absolutely.
If you're in a relationship with me, you can't smoke.
Yep.
End of story.
Yep.
Great. I was basically going to say the same thing. He'd rather, like, that's a very soft.
You seem too pliable.
I would also prefer someone leaning towards a healthy diet. But I also know that people are flexible. Say I try and eat healthy all the time and I want my partner to support me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's
join me in that.
That also suggests good communication. I want you to support me. This is what I want, and that builds the image, once again, of a healthy, wonderful relationship where we support each other. It's great.
I think I also like people that are transparent, kind, empathic, caring, pro-social, confident, and able to regulate their anger. That's a guess. He says, I think. He's not certain, but I'm glad that that's at least there. Yeah,
I think this is good. You could probably make this funny, though. I wonder if you can make this, take this and make it kind of entertaining.
Yeah. Okay. More information about me. This is... Okay, we're in the last section of the profile.
Alright, last stretch.
Here's other information I anticipate people might want to have about me. Those are not things I'm necessarily looking for in others. LinkedIn profile again. I'm often told I have a calming effect. Interesting topic, right?
Hey, that's cool. That could be up the top as well.
Yep. Habits. My sleep schedule is flexible. I tend to do exercise when I have someone with whom to do exercise. This is interesting. This is like it's almost like you're discovering yourself as you try and write these sentences about yourself.
Yeah.
But my belief in health benefits of exercise is not very strong. Interesting. Now I just want to know what he means by that. I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke, I don't take any drugs. Great. Okay, that's clear. Knowledge. I've read a fair amount about topics related to... so this should really read like, I have read moral philosophy, futurism, effective altruism, less wrong, and transhumanism. These are my interest areas.
I actually want to say something. I want to say, if you aren't sure about the health benefits of exercise, you should try exercising a lot, and then you'll feel the health benefits. Like, it will be very clear to you what they are, instead of just examining them. Like, you have to get in it and see to understand it. I'm actually an Olympic athlete level competitor in multiple sports.
I have good intuitions around economics. Great. I don't know what that means right now, but I'm just going to have to leave that there. Maybe there's a way to say that clearer, or maybe if I had said I followed my intuitions with, I guess, crypto, maybe stocks, and I've been doing quite well. Good to know. Skills. I'm able to do most types of housework, but I generally prefer to outsource it. Okay.
Cool.
That's good to know. That's like, oh, we're going to hire a cleaner. Great.
Yeah.
Suits me.
Hey, it's a pretty good bonus to have a man who's going to provide you with a cleaner so you don't have to clean up and have these arguments. That's great.
I'm pretty good at understanding social interactions / situations in detail. I wish he had written any of that in the previous set of the profile, but that's okay. I'm good at preventing and resolving conflicts. I'm good at thinking from first principles.
I
don't believe you. On that one.
I don't actually believe that you have good social skills. I am doubting that you have good social skills, and this is just from what I'm reading. But what it's showing me is that but I've never met him, right? So if you do have good social skills, I think they need to be showcased a little more.
Yeah, this is maybe social skills is yet another show don't tell. I don't really mind whether we have animal companions or not. Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like some people really strongly care about animals and other people are mostly indifferent.
Yeah.
I'm open to nudism. Okay. You can see my writings here. You can see some services I offer here.
Hey, if a girl is into nudism, I think you'll probably notice pretty quickly.
Have an okay keyboard.
Maybe not. Actually, that's not true. Women don't want men knowing that they're nudes. That's not. Yeah. I think a lot of times it would get weird. Go on.
To know more about me, I invite you to go the traditional route, i.e. stalking me. Wait, no, I mean one-on-one interactions. You can easily stalk me, though. I notably have a lot of Facebook posts. Feel free to send a friend request.
Okay.
I prefer to keep the word stalking out of dating profiles.
Yeah.
And it's a personal preference. He's trying to make a joke here, and so I don't want to shoot him down on making a joke.
Great job making a joke.
Glad there's a joke here. I just don't like the word stalking. Just puts people on the wrong flavor of dating process.
It was suspense. We had to wait till the end for the joke.
Oh, right. So this is the survey.
Okay. All right.
Dating profile. Big takeaways. Let's go for the big takeaways.
Could have been a lot shorter.
Okay.
Even I would almost say okay, this. Maybe it doesn't have to be shorter, right? But you are screening for a very specific type of woman if you write this giant profile that's super detailed. And if that is exactly what you need, a girl who just needs to
I think he's got more flexibility than that, though.
Yeah, I think you do too. I think you could, and some girls don't want to invest that much time into reading a dating profile. It's a lot of investment. So I would find something really short and funny, and just makes them visualize having a great time with you. Right.
So there's a question here: what appeals to the women in the rationalist sphere? What are they going to want out of this profile? What are they going to want, and what are they going to want up first? So it's nice to have the bounty there. We want a photo because we're humans. We work on photos. We want some basics. We want the height, the weight, the location. That's like one sentence. We want that stuff there. I want to know that if I'm in the wrong country, I shouldn't bother too hard. Okay. Right? Then what do we need?
First of all, I want something that shows that you have emotions, that you have warmth, and that you're going to show them a great time. Because if immediately I don't feel like you're going to create a wonderful life with me and I can't imagine something wonderful, then I probably don't want to keep reading. This is a long profile, so there's a big time investment.
Right, so there's a thing here I've said a few times. This profile is a demonstration of you. So your ability to demonstrate you, unfortunately for everyone who cannot write good profiles, means that their demonstration of themselves just stinks. So you need to work on this demonstration. who are you demonstrating with this profile? And unfortunately, there's like a level of self-awareness to step outside myself and see what I'm demonstrating that is quite difficult.
I also want to know what your job is specifically. What is your occupation? Because that's really important as to how our life is going to turn out.
People like doctors might work late hours, veterinarians are on shift.
Coders are, coders
have a very specific job structure.
Yeah.
Business owner, you're going to have a different lifestyle than a 9 to 5.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all. Hey, I think you have a lot of positive qualities. Like, you're clearly very smart. It's very clear that you're incredibly intelligent. You obviously have a job that lets you travel around the world. Dude, that's pretty cool. And you earn enough money so she can feel safe. You're an entrepreneur. Like, these are huge. You're 6'2", dude. Like, and you look good. You look good. Like, do something with your hair and your, and your outfit. And,
the clothes.
Yeah. Clothes are important. I would probably put some more fashionable clothes on. Men are easy to dress. Like, you get a button-down t-shirt with the rolled-up sleeves like Elliot has, and then like some nice pants. You're fine. Yeah, it's good. Here's
what I would suggest. Make a list of 3 to 10 women who you kind of would like if stars aligned and reality was a bit different. Then for each of them, think about the qualities. What is it about this person that I like? I like this one's kind of funny. This one's really warm and friendly. This one is pretty. These are the details that I like about this person. Then take your list of details and imagine they were a person that had all of those details. Then that is the person who needs to read the profile and like the profile. So you are writing the profile for them. You are writing the profile to appeal to them. You are writing the profile that they are going to like. So you need to think about who is that person. And we're talking about this Frankenstein of a handful of your friends or the people who you like. And your profile needs to appeal to them. So you can think about that when you're writing your profile. How do I make it to appeal to my Frankenstein human?
Yep.
All right. I want to say good luck. I want to say I'm happy to talk more about this. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, you seem like a really interesting guy. I wish the best for you. I love you.
No.